Hey everybody, how's it going? I'm Paul, I'm with the Dicey Review, and today we're going to be playing Hercules and the 12 Labors from Envy-Born Games. Now, this is an awesome solo game, and I'm going to be doing a full solo playthrough, and let's be honest, I'm not going to win. I talked to the designer about this game whenever he was showing it to me on Tabletop Simulator, and he said that he thought it was too easy. I disagree. In all plays that I've had of this game, it's very hard. So I don't think I'm going to be getting all the way through. What is happening in this game is we are taking on the role of Hercules, who is trying to go through 12 different labors to pay penance for a bit of light murder that he did. So he's trying to kind of atone for some bad stuff that he did. And we have to have our divinity marker all the way to the top of the divinity track, still have health left, and defeat all of the 12 labors to win. Each of the labors is going to come out with a little bit of story and have a different challenge of how you place dice on it to reduce health and things like that. It's a super cool game. So we're going to be right back after a quick break, and then you'll see how it plays. Alright, so what's going to happen in this game is we're going to be dealing with 12 different labors, as I said, after reading their story. And we're going to have some things that can help us with each labor. We're going to have some dice that we get to roll to try and do damage to the labor. But each round, or each labor, we're going to be affected by a different mood from this mood deck. And they may be good things, or they may be bad things. Hercules is just a demigod, but he is human. So he has human emotions. So we're going to see what affects us currently. So we are melancholic this time around. Oh, first thing off as well, I would like to say this game I will likely make some rules whoopsies. If I do, I will try to catch those in editing if at all possible. So yeah, hopefully I catch any and all mistakes that I make in the rules. If you see anything, absolutely call it out, and I will try and correct it if I can. But otherwise, we're just going to play through this, and hopefully this gives you a really good idea of how the game plays, and where you can see kind of the fun of just the game as it goes through. So we know that we're going to be melancholic, and now we will get to read a little bit about our first labor, and this is where Paul puts on his glasses, being the elderly man that I am, so I can see what I'm reading. The first labor set out by Eurystheus was to slay the Nemean lion. Begotten by Typhon and Echidna, this vicious beast had impenetrable skin and tormented the nearby countryside. Upon his journey to Nemea, Hercules met Melorchus, a poor worker who offered him shelter for an evening as well as a sacrifice for a successful battle against the lion. Hercules told the man to wait, and if he returned victorious, they would make a sacrifice together to the glory of all-seeing Zeus. But if he did not return within 30 days, Melorchus could make a sacrifice to honor him as a fallen hero. Hercules then set out, tracking the lion for days. When he finally spotted the beast, he nocked an arrow, took aim, and let loose. Since the bow was a gift from the bright, life-giving Apollo himself, he felt nothing could stop the arrow from finding its mark. However, the stories were true. The lion's skin was indeed impenetrable, and the arrow failed to penetrate the ferocious creature. Hercules knew he would have to rely on his strength. He pursued the lion into a cave and engaged it in combat. His club found its mark many times, but the lion fought back with fearful vigor, gnashing teeth, and tearing claws, which is a deadly trio. In the midst of the struggle, Hercules wrapped his arms around its monstrous neck, and held fast until the lion fell limp and he was sure of his victory. Using the razor-sharp claws of the lion itself, he skinned the creature and wore its impenetrable hide as armor, to add insult to injury. On his journey back, he met with his new friend Melorchus, and they fulfilled the promised sacrifice to Zeus, which enraged Hera further into her endless rancor toward Hercules. Upon his return, the lion's hide on his back, Eurystheus was so terrified that he ordered Hercules to wait outside the gates of the city, and from then on, further labors would be demanded through a herald. So, Hercules is a bad man. All right, so we have the story. Now we have the labor. What's going to happen is we are going to put a labor die on this labor, And that is how much health this labor has, essentially. And we have to reduce that health by placing either 6s or 5s on this card. And at each round, this die is going to move along, and it's going to do bad stuff to us. It's either going to hurt us or heal itself or double hurt us in this situation. So there's a timer. And if one of the labor dice, because there are labors that have more than one track, if a die or one of the dice ever gets to the end of one of these tracks where the skull shows up, we lose. So avoiding that would be chef's kiss, would be choice. All right, we do get 4 dice, and we're gonna go ahead and just start rolling them and applying them if possible. So this is, okay, that's not great. So after you roll your dice, you then have a chance to adjust any of the dice using blue abilities if you want to. Now, we do have a blue ability that we can use. The challenge here is that we actually have, we have to remember, we have -1 value to all of our dice. So this, which would normally damage the lion, is now a 4, which means it will not damage the lion. And in fact, none of these dice will damage the lion. We have a way to change that and damage the lion by 1 by using our ability over here. That will hurt us. That will cost us 1 spirit. So this is now a 1, and this is now a 4. You can wrap dice whenever you adjust them up and down by 1. So like, since this is now a 1, I could put this over here and make it a 6. But I don't know, or actually I don't know if that's true. Maybe it has to be, this 4 has to be turned into a 5. Either way, this counts as a 4, so I'm gonna put this on here and make this dice a 6 at the cost of 1 health, which will now damage the lion. So at least we're doing 1 damage to the lion. We do have to lose a spirit to do that, but now you can put that on there, and these dice really don't do anything for us at the moment, unfortunately, which means that this would now go down to a 5, and this die will move by 1, damaging us 1 further. And now we re-roll all of these dice and do it again, and hopefully we are able to kill this lion before we die. Oh yeah, boy. Oh no. Okay, so all of these are 4s, thanks to this melancholic. Man, Hercules, why'd you have to start off melancholic? Okay, so I could use this to turn this into a 6, and that would do damage. Now, ironically, with this -1 to all dice, if you re-roll a die, that effect doesn't still carry on. I believe I read that in the rules. So like, if we had a way to re-roll these dice and they turned into 5s, I think we would be fine. But as they stand, we are looking at 3 4s essentially right here. And let's see here. And you can only use each blue ability once, each roll of the dice. So I could just do this, you know, 4 times in an ideal world, but then that would, and just take 4 damage, but I can't do that, unfortunately. So I just got to work with what we got. So now we're going to take this down to a 4. We're making progress, but I'm feeling not good about how this timer is going. We need to roll better, basically. We need to roll some 6s. That's really what needs to happen. All right, so this moves by 1. We take 1 more damage, and let's see if we can roll 4 6s. If we can roll 4 6s, that would just be peachy keen. Hey, we rolled a 6. We're able to do more than 1 damage finally. Okay, so we have a 6, we have a 1. We are going to turn this 1 into a 6, which means that we now essentially have 2 5s, taking this down to 2. But the bad news is this moves by 1, which heals the labor by 1, bringing it back up to 3. That's what this symbol means. Okay, we need to roll so many 6s. Come on, 6s. Let's go 6s. Oh my gosh. Okay, we did roll a 6. That's fantastic news. So we will turn this one into another 6. This one cannot damage it, unfortunately, because of our dang depression. All right, so now we are going to take this down to 1, which means that all we have to do to not lose the game, so we do take 2 more damage, 1, 2. All we have to do to not lose this game is roll a 1 or a 6 or a 5 and I think we're good. Let's see if we can make that happen. It would be a real lame playthrough to die on turn 1. Yes. Okay, on labor 1 rather. All right, so we have done enough damage to kill this lion. Boom. Done. Overkill. So if you ever reduce the health completely, then the labor gets flipped over and it provides a reward. So we now get a quick one-time bonus. Sometimes this will give us like extra dice or something cool like that. This just gives us 2 health back, which we desperately need because we lost some health that round. And it will also give us new blue abilities that we can use on our turn, as well as some gold abilities. So gold abilities are cool. You can place dice there just like you would assign them to a labor. Now that does mean that they are locked you can't place a die on a gold ability and then also damage the labor with it. But you can do cool stuff, like sometimes it'll give you divinity, which once again we need to win, or sometimes it'll allow you to block, things like that. So it's like cool things that you can do with your gold abilities. Okay, so that being said, we are now moving on to the Lernean hydra. And once again, I will, okay, I didn't say this earlier, but I will likely butcher all of these pronunciations, so I apologize if that is so. Lernean hydra. Eurystheus' second demand of Hercules was to travel into the swamps of Lerna and slay the hydra that had been devastating the nearby cattle farms. The famed Argonaut Aeolus drove the chariot bearing Hercules to the springs of Amymone, said to be the home of the monstrous 9-headed Lernean hydra. When they arrived, it was eerily quiet, but Hercules, undeterred, loosed flaming arrows toward its lair until its 9 heads emerged and fell upon him. In the ensuing struggle, Hercules smashed the heads of the hydra with his brutal club as slithering tails wrapped around him tightly, preventing escape. He beat the hydra, but from the pulp of each bloodied head grew 2 more, each more loathsome than the last. He called to Aeolus to set the nearby forest aflame and fetch the flaming branches to cauterize the heads as he smashed them one by one. Hera, bloodthirsty, watched closely as the tide of battle swayed toward the ire of her eye, Hercules. So she called upon the giant crab and ally of the Echidna-born hydra, Carcanos. The crab scuttled toward the battle, clutched at Hercules, and gnawed at his flesh, little more than a distraction. Hercules lifted his mighty foot and stomped the creature into a mound of broken shell. Eventually, the multitudes of heads were cauterized, except the last, the 9th and immortal head remained. He tore it from its blood-soaked body and buried it beneath a massive rock. That'll do it. Before leaving, Hercules sliced open the body and dipped his arrows into the blood, empowering them with a toxic venom. Victorious, he and Aeolus rode the chariot back to the city gates, whereupon Eurystheus' herald informed Hercules that this labor would not count as one of his 10, as the labor was demanded for Hercules alone, not for Hercules and Aeolus. Got him on a technicality. Laughing from Olympus, Hera took the head of the hydra and Carcanos, placing them into the heavens above, where they shine nightly in the spring sky. Boy, oh boy, does that suck for Hercules. Didn't even count. All right, so now we are fighting against the Lernean hydra. Luckily, this one only has 1 head, or 1 die to deal with. Many heads, not 1 die. 1 die to deal with, but every time it moves along, it's going to hurt us and heal itself because it's a hydra, right? It keeps regenerating. And we will have to deal with a new mood. So we had a not fun mood, but now we get a new one. So we'll see what we get. For this labor, we will have a new one. Let's see. We are battered. Ooh. Well, this may be a 2-labor playthrough. I am working with 3 dice. I lose a die from this mood here. Okay, cool. But I do have more abilities that I can use. So once again, we have more tools that we're working with because we have the impenetrable hide that we got from the Lernean, not the Lernean hydra, the Nemean lion. So we have more that we're working with. So who knows? We'll see what happens. Sweet. Okay, I needed a 6. So I do have some stuff that I can work with. I can damage the hydra once. So this is a weird thing with this labor, is it heals 1 every turn. So doing 1 damage really doesn't do anything, right? So taking a damage for me to be able to deal 1 damage makes no sense here. So I think what I want to do is I just want to block. So you can place any die on this gold ability, and I'm not going to use any of my blue abilities, and I'm going to block the 1 damage that is coming at me, and then the Hydra will also have healed once if I had damaged the Hydra, which I chose not to do because it would be a wash. So that is that's that step done. So you can see how this Hydra works. It's kind of a damage it and then it heals, damage it and then it heals. Hey, now we're talking. Now we're talking. Okay, sweet. So I'm going to take a couple of damage if I do this, but I think 3 hits to the Hydra is too good to pass up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change this 1 into a 6, take 1 damage for that, hit this bad boy 3 times, bringing it down to 3, and then that'll be that. Now, that does heal up to 4, and it also hits me for 1. But we got a good hit in there. Okay, so a few more of those and we're in good shape. Let's see here. All right. Oh, this is fantastic. This is another 3-hitter because remember, we have this blue ability that can change a 3 to a 6. So each blue ability, like I said, you can only use once, but we have the ability to turn all 3 of these dice into a 6 because we can use this to change this into a 6. At the cost of 1 health, we turned the 3 into a 6, and we already had 1, so now we damage it for 3 down to a 1. And if we can just get 2 hits, because the problem is he's about to heal back up by 2. So he heals back there to 2, deals us a damage, so we're getting a little low on health. But hopefully, we've been rolling really well, so our luck may have just run out, but hopefully we can get 2 6s here. Oh no. Oh no. Okay, not as cool. Not as cool. Now, I do want to do the damage here to keep it at a 3, I think. So that means that I'm going to need to change this to a 6 at the cost of 1 health. And assign that there, bringing it down to a 1. So close, we got you, Hydra. Just kidding. No, we don't, because it healed back up to 3. Okay. It's okay. We still got time. We can do this. Hopefully we can do this. All right, let's see. Come on, 6s. Yeah, we got it. We got it. Okay, sweet. So we have to take this down to a 6. Lose 1 more health. Really got to get some health back. But now we have enough to kill the Lernean Hydra. So it is gone. So this game is easy. Like the designer said, not really, not at all. Okay, so this is really cool. We now have Venomous Blood, which will give us some reroll abilities. That's fantastic. And we gain 1 die, which is huge. So now we're working with 5 dice instead of 4 dice. Just need to get some health, and we need to get a whole lot of divinity. But hey, we're making progress. And the next thing we're going to be taking on is the Ceryneian hind. So let's see what happens here. For the 3rd labor, Eurystheus demanded Hercules track down the Ceryneian hind and bring it back alive. This magnificent red deer, sacred to the bold, skilled goddess of the hunt Artemis, was whispered about among mortals. It had golden antlers, a glorious dappled hide, and was faster than the wind, and even snorted fire. No matter the tales, it was the celestial beauty of Cerynea. Hercules knew he could not bring himself to harm such a creature, no matter his reckless and brutish reputation. He set off towards Cerynea, instinct honed for the hunt. When he finally spotted the sacred hind, its head rose, sniffing the wind, and Hercules discovered that the legends of its swift-footed celerity were truer than he could have imagined. It didn't just run, it was like lightning. The hind hastened through forests and mountains across Arcadia, with a persistent, penance-driven Hercules close behind. For a full year, the pursuit stretched over endless miles until the hind reached a river. He ran for a year? Good grief. Talk about goals. Where it finally rested. With bow in hand, Hercules stared at the majestic creature, his heart heavy, eyes wet. Carefully he raised his bow, aiming only to wound, and released an arrow. It found its mark, and the hind knelt in agony before him. Placing the hind gently upon his shoulders, Hercules began his journey back to Eurystheus, but was soon beckoned. Hercules found himself in the presence of the divine siblings Artemis and Apollo. Artemis, hateful of men and enraged by his ignorance and barbarity, sought to strike him down for the harm he caused the hind. Quickly, Hercules explained his intent, his destiny, how he had lost his mind and his family, how the oracle of Delphi set him on a path, and that Eurystheus was responsible for the deed he now carried out. Artemis's mercy was cautious, but she saw the suffering he had and would endure. So she healed the hind's wound, blessed Hercules, and allowed him to complete his labor. Ugh, what a bummer. He had to kill the deer. All right, so this Ceryneian hind is kind of a cool labor in that it just keeps going, right? There's no end of the track where you can just hit a skull because he's on this constant chase. So we're going to go this way, and then it'll just keep looping until we finally catch the deer. So we'll see how this works. Now, this one is going to be a bit tougher because we have to have 2 dice to damage the labor that are the same. So we will see what we can do. We are going to get a new mood. So let's see what we get here. Hopefully it's not some damage because I don't have a lot of health. Oh, haunted. It's almost like I spoke it into existence. All right, haunted. I am haunted by this deer. All right, so let's see what we can do. We now have more things that we can try and bring at this deer because of our venomous blood. So we have 1 pair of dice and 2 pair of dice. Fantastic. Okay, that was a really good roll. And do we have anything else we want to do? No, not really anything else I would want to do, right? We've already done the most hits that we can. So we've got 2 pairs of dice, bringing this down to a 4. And now it is going to move down here, which will heal it by 1. And we go again. So let's see what we can, how quickly we can damage this deer. Okay, so we're at a 2. With our pairs there, and we can make another pair if we take a damage. You know what? Before we take damage, let's try and re-roll some stuff. Let's see if we can get lucky. And actually, let's see if we can roll a 4, because let's see. All right, so it's the exact same thing. Let's try the other one. We can only use each one once. Let's see if we can re-roll this and to be the exact same thing. Okay, we're gonna have to take a damage. All right, let's do that. Take 1 damage and do this here. Okay, so we are damaging it for 2 again, which is great news because we are going to need to kill it quick because we're about to lose another die. So this right here means that we lose 1 of our dice. It is taken out for the round, so it'll go over here. And we're working with less now, so hopefully we can still roll pairs of things. We shall see. Oh boy, no, we rolled almost straight, which is not what you want to see against this labor. Okay, so let's see if we can get some re-rolls. So let's re-roll this 1 first and see what happens. A 2. Hey, we now have a pair of something. Let's re-roll this other die and see if we can get a pair of something else. A 5. No. Okay. So that now means that we also can't reduce it. Oh, we can do a thing. Okay, we can do a thing. So we can turn this 3 into a 6. We haven't used that yet. And then we can turn this 5 into a 6 because we can use that ability. That does bring us down to 5 health, so I don't know that we can use that ability too many more times. But now we have 2 pairs, so we're going to bring it down to 1. And then it goes over here and heals back up to 2. Okay, so this is looking a little grim, but we'll see how this goes. Okay, a 1, 2, once again, a 1, 2. Okay. All right, well, let's start off with some rerolls. Let's see what we get. We'll reroll this 2 first. And we got a 4. All right, we got 1 pair. So, should we yeah. So let's re-roll this other die, and if we can get a 3 or a 6. Okay, let's see what happens. Let's re-roll this other one. Hey, we didn't even need it. We just rolled what we needed. Fantastic. Okay, so we have now gotten 2 pairs of dice, which means that this labor is defeated before we took a whole bunch of damage, which is awesome. We get 3 health back. 1, 2, 3. That is awesome news. Okay, and now we have our first way to get some divinity, which is really good because we have to do that to win. Now, it does take a lot of dice to do it, but at least now we have a way. All right, and now we are facing the Erymanthian boar. So let's see what happens to the Erymanthian boar. The 4th labor demanded by Eurystheus was to capture the ill-tempered and violent boar living atop the mountain of Erymanthus. This boar came crashing down the mountain daily, snarling and snorting, tusks aching for blood, heart hot with rage, ready to indiscriminately ravage the region. Jeez. After the Nemean lion and the Lernean hydra, how tough could this wild pig be? Thinking the labor would be easy. I'm sure it'll be easy. Thinking the labor would be easy, Hercules took a detour to visit his friend, the centaur Pholus. As they ate and reminisced, Hercules grew thirsty and asked for the wine to be opened. Pholus was hesitant. Centaur wine is much stronger than the other wines, and meant only for centaurs. Insistent, Hercules opened the wine himself and drank his fill. Little did he know that the odor of the wine wafted from the cave, and a nearby band of centaurs caught the scent. Enraged to see a man drinking their wine, they entered the cave armed with rocks and fir trees. Jeez, those are strong centaurs. Hercules, deep in his drink, flung logs from the fire at them and chased them down, but the 4-legged centaurs were swift. Hercules unleashed his bow, wounding the immortal Chiron, master of healing, and teacher of the great Achilles. The hydra's venomous blood caused such pain to the great Chiron that he begged for death, and a deal between Prometheus and Zeus allowed Chiron release from life. The curious Pholus, wondering how such small arrows could cause such pain, examined and dropped an arrow piercing his foot, killing him instantly. When Hercules returned, he found his lifeless friend, buried him, and set out to complete his task. As he approached the boar, despair and self-hatred boiled inside him. Hercules screamed and chased the boar around the mountain until it eventually became so terrified that it hid in a nearby thicket, easy for Hercules to find and trap. Eurystheus, seeing Hercules return, a swirling mixture of sadness and rage, carrying the giant rabid boar on his back, fled in absolute terror. Geez, Hercules, these decisions that you make. All right. So we are now going to face this boar, and this one is cool because this is going to be the first labor that has 2 separate tracks and 2 separate goals. So we have this track over here where we are needing to get a total of dice that add up to exactly 12, and then we have this set over here, and this is going to be interesting. So this labor requires us to have 2 dice that add up to a 3rd die. So like a 1 plus a 4 and then a 5. So we're going to need to do 3 dice to damage this side and possibly 2 dice to damage this side if we can get 2 6s, but they have to add up to 12. And let's see what type of mood we're dealing with first, because you know what? We just lost our friend. So are we melancholic? I hope not, because that would be lame. We are ferocious. Oh my gosh, I hardly ever get this one. This one is amazing. So this one is fantastic. It allows us to place a die there and change it to any value that we want, which is incredible. So we may have a chance, but then again, there's a lot of damage coming at us on these 2 cards and 2 ways to lose. So we'll see if we can survive this labor, and you know what? If not, I've already done better than I have in the past. So you're all experiencing it with me. All right. Sweet. So we need 2 dice that add up to a 3rd. So we do have that on the left side. We have 2 3s and a 6. And then we need 2 dice that add... oh, okay. Nope, we can do better. We can do better. We have a way to turn a 3 into a 6. So we can turn this 3 into a 6. And then we can change something to any die that we want. So we could do a 2 and a 3. Because of this, we could do a 2 and a 3 to a 5. All right, there we go. Now we have dice that add up to 12, 2 dice that add up to a third die. So we have damaged both of these. No, I wish, not a 1, a 2. We have damaged both of these things here. They're down to a 2. The problem is we're taking a lot of damage. Okay, let's see. Let's see if we can survive this. Okay, so that's done. We're taking 1, 2, 3 damage. Holy cow. 1, 2, 3. We're fine. 5, it's like, that's a mountain of health. Okay, so let's see what we get this time. But as you can see, these things that start to come out here really can help you survive these challenges. Oh boy. Okay, so we have a way to damage this one. This one has more damage left, I feel like. There's 4 damage left over here and only 3 damage left over here, so maybe focus on this side more. So this one would allow us to damage it once. Could we make it so that we could damage it twice? It's about to heal 1. Okay, let's think about this. We could change something to anything. So we could just, so you know what we could do? Could we damage this twice and just take it out? Would that be worth it? I think that might be worth it. So if we change this one to a 6, I know we're going to take a damage, but if we change this one to a 6, we now have enough. And we could change, this is at 10, we could change this to anything, so we could just make it a 2. That now adds up to 12, and we could damage this labor twice and remove that one so we don't deal with this one anymore. I think that works out pretty well. And we don't lose now, wait, 1, 2, yeah. We don't lose now from health at least from this one. Okay, I think that's the play. Sweet, so that's done. And then we took our damage. Okay, now we are gonna lose a die if we can't beat it, which I don't think there's a way that we have enough dice to do that. Okay, so, hey, great. A 2 plus 2 is 4, that's good. And we're not gonna lose any health. So is there a way that we could get some divinity? Well, we could re-roll, right? We could re-roll and see if we just get lucky, see if we get a 4, because we have our way to change a thing into an anything. A 6. So we could take another, no, but if we did that, that would be really dumb. I was about to say we could take 1 more damage to turn it into a 4, but then that one would kill us. So I don't think it's worth it there. I was hoping we could get a divinity, but I don't think we're gonna be able to. Our rerolls did not save us. Okay, so we did damage it though, so it's down to a 1. And now it moves on and we lose 1 die, unfortunately. A 1 and a 2 is a 3. That does what we need it to do. We have defeated the boar. Fantastic. All right, so when you have more than one card to pick from, you have to pick one of them. You can't have both, unfortunately. So that means that we could pick between one of these 2 cards, and honestly, I think we really need the one that gives us health. We're super low on health. So I think it's not, we don't have much of a choice there. We got to pick this one, and this regret unfortunately goes away. So, and we do gain 2 health. So hey boy, aren't we gonna need it? Okay, so let's see what is happening with these Augean stables. I'm not pronouncing that correctly. There's no way I'm pronouncing that correctly. The 5th and filthiest labor Eurystheus imposed on Hercules was to clean King Augeas' stables. Augeas was rumored to be the son of an immortal, perhaps Poseidon or Helios, but nobody knew for sure. The only sure thing about Augeas was he was rich beyond imagination, and his prosperity granted him herds of divine animals. Knowing this, Hercules kept the labor secret, and instead offered to clean the stables in exchange for 1/10 of Augeas' immortal cattle. Augeas agreed, and as Hercules began the impossible, Augeas' son, Phyleus, followed to witness the awe-inspiring task. Man, had nobody ever cleaned these stables? He began to shovel and made great progress, but when he looked back, his progress was covered again in endless divine dung. Petulantly, he threw down his shovel and pounded against the thick walls. After smashing through the stables at each end, he picked up his shovel again and headed to the nearby Alpheus and Peneus rivers. He dug tediously for hours through the hard, sun-soaked soil, until finally the rerouted rivers rushed into the stables through one rage-rested hole to the other, washing the filth clear. Hercules, massaging his broad, aching shoulders, returned to Augeas, but while he was away, Eurystheus had sent someone to check on his progress. This herald had informed Augeas that the labor was demanded by Eurystheus, so as Hercules arrived, Augeas refused to uphold his promise. Judges were summoned to settle the matter, and in the ensuing trial, Phyleus testified against his own father to uphold the promise. In return, Augeas exiled Phyleus from his home to wander, eventually leading a colony of people to the island of Dulichium. In his guilt of tying Phyleus to the thread of his own tangled fate, Hercules eventually killed Augeas and his other sons, then returned to the land to Phyleus as recompense. Once Hercules returned to Eurystheus, he was told that since he had been paid, the rivers doing most of the work anyway, this labor would not be counted. Once again, man, you cannot break any of the rules or else the labor does not count. Jeez. All right. So we have to deal with these stables. And these are going to be another one of those situations where we have two things that we are dealing with. And we have to roll ones on this one. But hey, they each start at only 5. Jeez. Okay, and I'm sure this time our mood's going to be good. We're going to have a good mood affecting us here. Let's see what happens to our mood. Ugh. Oh no. Oh no. 2, 3. We have 2 health. We're fine. Which just means that if we don't roll, holy crap, we have 2 health. Which means that if we don't have 2 dice that are the same, we lose. But that's okay, because once again, this is farther than I've gotten before, which once again speaks to just how much of an easy breezy game this is. Hey, great news, we don't die. We don't die because we rolled a pair of things, and as such, our pair heals us by 2. Boom, boom. There we go. And we can block some incoming damage if we need to, because we're only damaging 1, and which one do we want to damage? So I think, oh, they're both bad. They're both bad, but this one looks more bad to me. So I will try and damage this one first. Let's try and block some damage. We can turn... No, we can't. We can't do that. I was about to say we could try and do... You know what? We have some rerolls. Let's go ahead and use our reroll, see if we can get another damage in. Nope, that's 5. We have another reroll. Let's see if we can do that. Hey, we got another damage in, and we blocked 1. So now we take 1 damage, not 2 damage. And we damage this one by 2, down to 3. Easy. Easy. All right. So let us see what we can do this time. Hey, we have a way to get more health. Oh, not that. We want more health so that we don't die. And oh gosh, we didn't roll any damage this time is the bad news. Unless we change this to it. You know, we have a little bit of health to work with now. Why don't we change this to a 6 and then change that 6 into a 1 at the cost of 1 health. We're okay. And we can reroll some stuff, right? We can reroll. And we can block the incoming damage, which is good. Let's reroll a couple times. Let's see what we can get. Hey, a 1, that's fantastic. And let's reroll this one and see what we get. A 4. Not amazing, but we can block the damage. That's good news. So we are not taking any hits. This one does heal by 1, but it's gonna be down to a 2 still, which is great. And let's see what we can do this time, because we are going to eventually lose a die. So hopefully we can do enough damage. Let's see here. Ugh. No more of that. Let's heal up a bit. 1, 2. I mean, okay, technically I shouldn't be doing the gold abilities first. I should be doing all the blue abilities first, but and then assigning things to the gold dice. I'm doing it slightly out of sequence, but I'm trying to think through this so that it works in my brain. Okay, so we've damaged that there. We have a little bit more health to work with, so we could... we're going to take a hit this time, though, no matter what we do. So I could turn this 3 into a 6, and then change that 6 into a 1, assign a damage. Is there a way? Possibly we could take not as much damage. So if I can roll a 1, fantastic. We're not going to take that 2 damage, so we just block the damage. That's great. Okay, so this goes away. We do not take that damage. And this goes over here, heals by 1. It can't heal to more than max, so it really doesn't do anything there. Now, we are on a bit of a timer here, unfortunately. But the 1 damage we do not take. So that's good. And we got rid of this one, which would have taken a die away from us, which is great. So we can no longer lose from health, at least. Now we just have to do as much damage as possible. So, okay, we have some rerolls. Let's do the rerolls first. Let's not use our 3s, because we can do something with 3. Use a second reroll. That's not gonna work. Okay, so let's turn this 3 into a 6, and let's turn that 6 into a 1, and do a couple of damage here. Because if we don't, we are hosed. All right, so there's that. I don't think there's anything else we could do, right? We've got 2, 3. Oh, we could heal. Got 2 3s, right? 1, 2. We could heal. That's good. Yeah. So we lose a divinity that we don't actually have yet, so that's cool. Says Paul, who wishes he had some to lose. And, oh no, okay. So the problem here is the timing of, oh boy. Okay, hey, it's fine. We can reroll. We can turn this into a 1. We have at least 1 damage, and we can reroll. And you know what? It's fine, because we're going to reroll 2 1s. That's close to one of them. And yes, that is what we needed. So I will turn this into a 1 at the cost of 1 health, which is fine because we don't actually, the health doesn't matter as much as the timing on this does. It's fine. We can do 3 damage in 3 turns, right? It's possible. We can do this. Is there anything else I can do? I can turn a 3 into a 6, which I guess... No, I've already done that. Or have I? Oy, I should leave these things on there. Because I guess I could heal a little bit. Okay, well, either way, we've done some damage. We're down to 2. And now, unfortunately, this means that we cannot block while this thing is on this die. So that's not great, but it's okay. I think we're okay on health now, thanks to this regret card that we got. Okay, so let's see if we can get 2 1s. That's not what we needed at all. We do have rerolls, so let's see what we reroll. A 3 and a 2. Okay, we can get at least 1 because we can turn this 3 into a 6. So let's leave these on our dice so we know what we're doing. And then we can turn that 6, I think, into a 1. Possibly here. Oh, what was that die? I don't remember. Oh my gosh. Okay. We can turn that 6 into a 1. So we've used that ability. The cost of 1 health. And what else can we do? What else can we do? We've done our rerolls. We don't have... I don't think there's anything else I can really do. So we're going to do 1 damage. We're going to assign this here. We're going to do 1 damage. Down to 1. And we cannot block because this is on here. So now we have to take 2 damage. But come on, we can get 1 damage, right? We can get 1 damage to not, we got it. We got the 1 damage, at least. Let's do our rerolls first just to see if we could, hey, we don't need that. We don't need to hurt ourselves. So let's see if we can do other stuff to maybe get some divinity and some heals. So we can turn a 6 into a 3, and we do have 1 more reroll. So let's go ahead and use our reroll, see if we can get another 4 or a... Nope, not a 4. We could turn a 6 into a 3. Like, I don't know that there's a way that we get... We could turn a 6 into a 3, and then we could turn that other 3, that 2 into a 3. And get a net gain of 1 health, I guess. So we could turn this into a 3, and then we could turn that 2 into a 3 at the cost of 1 health, but then use those 2 to gain 2 health. Bloop, bloop. So that's good. And then we have we have cleaned the stables, which is fantastic. All right, sweet. So we get 1, 2, 3 health. Now we have to remove 1 prior reward. Oh boy. Okay. 1 prior reward. So placing a die here, you could turn another die into anything, or place a die here and you could re-roll another die. Okay, so if you do this, you lose the die for the round, but that is really powerful. I think I might keep this one. And I might get, which one to get rid of though? This one is really useful. Oh my gosh, they're all really useful. The 6 to a 3, gaining the block. Honestly, is gaining the block the one to get rid of? I have a way to heal. That would still allow me to manipulate my dice. I feel like manipulating my dice is going to be... 3 to a 6 is really good though, because it combos with that one. I think having control would be good, maybe. Okay, we'll see. We'll see what this does. That one's gone. That one's gone. All right, let's see what we deal with next. The Stymphalian birds. Okay. Jeez, these are really quick to kill you. All right. Eurystheus' sixth labor forced Hercules to travel to Stymphalos and rid the nearby lake of monstrous flesh-eating birds. Good grief. Under a cloudy sky, treading over scattered dry bones, Hercules approached the lake with caution, but he soon found himself in the midst of a cacophonous clatter above him. The birds rustled among the thick foliage, and Hercules' half-divine, muscled physique shivered like a child as nightmarish beaks cried out for carrion. Glimpses of talons and cold, dreadful eyes appeared fleetingly between the branches as he spun, dizzying himself beneath the canopy of death. There was no clear shot. He spotted a hilltop climbing up from the trees and ran toward it. Fresh air filled his lungs, and as he composed himself, the gray-eyed goddess Athena appeared. His immortal stepsister spoke with a commanding voice about the citizens in Stymphalos who had made offerings, prayed she would rid the birds from the lake. Hercules, only half comfortable with this goddess of war and wisdom, said he could not accept help. He knew how Eurystheus felt about receiving aid. Him receiving aid. Yeah, exactly. If he breaks any rules, it's like, doesn't count. and did not want a 13th labor. Her response was simple. Hercules would be her vessel to answer the prayers of the people, and if Eurystheus had issue with this, he shall meet the bright-eyed goddess, shield of storm and thunder himself. Athena then handed Hercules a bright brazen instrument forged by the halting but mighty Hephaestus, and disappeared as the storm clouds broke. Hercules, not a musical bone in his body, clanged the instrument the best he could, and a rough wind-like resonance rang out. A scattering of unholy calls echoed as the trees emptied into the sky, the blood-hungry birds. Hercules loosed arrows until the quiver fell empty against his back. He couldn't get them all, but gathering his arrows and a few lifeless carcasses for proof of a completed labor, he watched as the remaining birds disappeared eastward, wondering which hero would be next to face them. So he kind of didn't solve anything, but it's fine, because he got a few of them, and he's like, you know what? All I did, I got enough to say I did something. Okay, so he's got regret. And I've got my new immortal cows. Let's see here. How many birds are we dealing with? A lot. Okay, cool. 4 birds. We're dealing with 4 birds. Holy cow. Look at the artwork. Oh my gosh. Okay, no, it goes like this. Look, it's like a whole panoramic. Look at this. Jeez Louise, that is pretty. You see that? Is my framing good? Oh, needs to come up a little bit. Wowzers, that looks really nice. Okay. See, I only use hip, cool words like wowzers. All right. So, let's see what type of mood we are dealing with today. Haunted. That's fine. We got a way to deal with that. Oh, no, that was what I was about to say. Do I gain another die? Could it be? Okay, sweet. So we've got a 3. We've got a 4. We've got another 4 and another 3. And these, okay, this is interesting. So we need just a whole smattering of different dice values for this. We need a 6 or a 3. We need a 6, we need a 3, and we need a 6 or a 3. So we just need a whole bunch of 6s and or 3s. Hey, we got 2 3s. That is fantastic. Also, there are 2 birds that only take 3 rounds to kill us. So that's good to know. So I feel like we need to focus on one and or both of them. Do we do both, or do we just like focus on one? Okay, so oh, dude, that's tough. I think maybe just try and take one out really quickly. I can't block. Oh gosh. I'm just going to focus on this one for now. Let's see what we can do. So we've got a couple of rerolls. So let's see what we can reroll. 4 is not what we want. I'll keep the 4 though, just in case. A 2 is not what we want. Now we do have a pair of something, so we could heal up, but is that the best use of that? Because we could also just place a die here, lose it for the round to turn this into anything, making this another 3, and then we kill that thing, right? That's good. I say we do that. And let's, oh, we don't have the block thing anymore. Ooh. Okay, well, at least we're dealing with this, so that's good. We take a couple of damage, which isn't ideal. But we killed one of the birds. We loosed an arrow and it hit, so that's good. Man, there's a couple of things that are worrying me about this that might kill us. Okay, so let's see what we get first. Let's see. We're not dead yet. We're not dead yet, said the guy who was almost dead. This one I feel like is really bad. This one will advance all the other dice. So I kind of don't want that to trigger, although, yeah, because if that triggers, we lose over here, unless we kill this first. Could we kill this first? I mean, we can, right? We can if we just turn this into if we just use this ability to turn this into an anything. and turn it into a 3. So that gets killed. Now these move. Wait. Oh no. We lose, I think. I don't know why I didn't see this. Okay, so I mean, I may be wrong how I'm interpreting this. It's a solo game, so there's probably a lot of stuff that I'm interpreting wrong. But then again, I'm not cheating anybody but myself. But this moves all labor dice. I was so focused on this one that I didn't even think about these two things. This moves all labor dice, which I believe means these both move here, and we take 4 damage, of which we only, oh well, we have exactly 4. So we didn't take overkill damage. But I think we lost. I will say, I did much better this time than I have in the past on playthroughs. Normally I'm out pretty quick. I've played this game about 5 or 6 times, and that's the farthest I've ever gotten. That's really cool, which I know is absolutely embarrassing, but that's I got pretty far that time, which is great. Hopefully this gave you all enough of like an exposure to the game system to see how things work. It is a super thematic, super cool game where you have tons of tough choices about like what type of rewards you want to keep, about which type of cards you want to target first in what way, and it definitely matters, because if you're not paying attention, like somebody, you can lose. But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this playthrough. I've been enjoying my plays with this game. It's absolutely beautiful, super thematic, full of really tough choices, and it packs down into a box that is this big. So it is literally almost pocket-sized, but it's super easy to fit in a backpack or carry on. And I've been taking it on trips with me everywhere I go recently, because it's a really cool one to just bust out when you have some time to kill. So hopefully this playthrough is helpful. If you have any questions, please post them below, and I have an in with the designer so I can ask him rules questions, and I'm sure I've gotten a few things wrong during this playthrough. If I did, like I said at the start of the video, I will attempt to notate them whenever possible, unless something is so wrong that I need to refilm the video. So as always, if you are enjoying the content, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and click the bell icon to be notified whenever I put out new stuff. But until next time, guys, I'll see you at the table.